Alright, welcome everybody. If you are back, sorry about that. I was having some issues here. But we should be good now. I hope at least. Had to just change my positioning. I was trying it on a different device and it just wasn't streaming correctly. Oh, and McNeil boots one there. So after a play that Beatty couldn't quite get done, McNeil also has a ball that he just doesn't get to. Should have probably been a double play there. Yeah, don't love that play by McNeil. Acuna probably makes that play. Um, but McNeil probably gives you a better bat at this point. I can't be mad about McNeil playing. So Canning has not looked very sharp today, obviously, giving up the 2 runs, and the first 2 runners have reached base here in the first and second in the second inning here. So not exactly what you'd like to see. Looks like the White Sox are trying to bunt the runners over, missed both of them, and it's now 0-2 on Taylor here. Taylor's an interesting guy. He's someone that a lot of Mets fans wanted a couple years ago. Um, I think he was with the Nationals at the time, and he became a free agent. And he was one of those guys that was very well thought of. That he just needed a chance to kind of play every day. Um, but it turns out that he probably just wasn't very good. He's not been very good the last couple of seasons. Guy with a lot of power, a lot of speed, plays great defense, but he's like another Jose Siri. And Canning strikes him out. Big first out, especially on a strikeout. Doesn't advance the runners. Big out there by Canning. Still first and second, 1 out here. Canning still has some work to do to get out of this inning. Back to the top of the lineup now for the White Sox. And is 1-1 on the leadoff guy here. I mean, hopefully we can get a little length out of Canning here. I mean, he just threw his 40th pitch, and it's 2-1. You'd like to get a little more length out of him. Obviously, had a rough first inning. He had to throw a lot of pitches to get out of it, but um, looks like maybe he has a path through this. Long fly ball to left, but it's going to reach the seats. Looked worse off the bat than it ended up being. I thought it was possibly a home run. But Canning has to get out of this quickly. You know, he's probably going to end up close to 50 pitches here through 2 innings, which puts him on pace to pitch about 4 innings. And we have the off day tomorrow, so most guys in the bullpen should be available. Probably other than Garrett, who pitched more than 1 inning yesterday. I don't see too many restrictions out of that bullpen. Meidroth grounds one foul. It's still 2-2. We've seen him try to get through this inning. Hopefully, if he gets through this inning, maybe he can settle down, get a quick third. But I'd like to definitely see some better results here from Canning early on. Fly ball to center. Taylor's got it lined up. Looks like it's going to be an easy out. I don't think the runner did tag from second, go to third, but with two outs, doesn't matter quite as much. So now Talkman bats. I believe he walked in his first at bat, so he's 0 for 1 with a walk. He also scored a run in that first inning. And Talkman's just a good hitter. I mean, he might not have great stats, but he is hitting over 300 this year. He's been around a long time. Cubs, Yankees. He's been around. Just a good major league player. The type of player that the White Sox got to try to stay, at least somewhat competitive, and it hasn't really worked out, but he's a good player. 1-0 now to Talkman, and he lines one to right field, and it is a fair ball, so that will be another run at least. Soto gets to it. Oh, and he's safe. So it is now 4-0. Just let's be clear. That was a double by Talkman, scored the runner from third and first, and it is now 4-0 White Sox here in the second inning. So worst start I've seen Canning have, giving up 4 runs, especially against a team like the White Sox who don't score very much. Not what you'd like to see, but it just looks like Canning doesn't have it today. Hopefully, I don't know how much longer, honestly, they're going to keep him out there. Now he's already at 50 pitches in the second inning. I don't see him sticking around. Yeah, just not the start you want to see here, obviously. Now he's 3-0 on Vargas. Canning doesn't have it. I don't think he's going to be very long for this game if this inning continues much longer. If he doesn't get the out here, he's probably not going to be very long for the game unless Mendoza's just going to eat the game and kind of punt it and let him wear it. Yeah, it's terrible. Not what you like to see here out of Canning. I mean, it puts the offense down. Listen, they should be able to hit. They should be able to score 5 runs against the White Sox. But it's basically got to be, we have to see we have to see the offense get to hitting, and they just haven't looked great. They didn't look great in that first. I mean, they got a couple hits. I wasn't as in tuned because I was trying to get back online and everything, but they had a couple base runners and once again couldn't come through. Just need Canning to try to get through this inning. But if he continues to give up base runners here, I think they're probably going to just realize he has nothing and pull him. And with the off day tomorrow, you can use everyone in your bullpen, but they've been so overworked. I just hate to see them get overworked in a game like today against the White Sox. I mean, you have the Rockies coming up. I don't know. No matter what happens, they still won the series, but I definitely wanted this sweep. And right now, going down 4-0 in the second, your starting pitcher doesn't have it. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this pitcher, he's been really good this year, and he has a lot of promise. I mean, they were talking about him in the broadcast earlier, and I looked him up before the game, but basically he pitched 7 games in college and was undrafted because he had Tommy John surgery, and it was the year that they had the pandemic year, and then he had Tommy John, and he only ended up pitching 7 games in college, so he went undrafted. And then he was a Rule 5 pickup for the White Sox. So a cool kind of story for him, but he's a guy the Mets should still hit. I'm just having all kinds of issues today. And Canning does get out of the inning with a strikeout. Um, I'm sure he'll pitch the third, but it's clear he just doesn't have it today. Maybe he'll settle in now and give up nothing the rest of the game. But that's a rough look going 2 innings against a team like this, giving up 4 runs in 2 innings. It's the worst start I've seen for Canning. I'm not going to get down on him. He's been great all year. I don't expect that all of a sudden he's going to regress. It's just a bad start, and that happens sometimes. Even against bad teams, it can happen. But the good ones from here, it's like you got to get them early. Once you get through a couple innings and then you start to get comfortable, maybe he can last a little bit into the game. I just don't know. He doesn't look like he has anything today. But the bat's got to hit. Listen, you know you got to score runs. We got Vientos coming up. Vientos, McNeil, Torrens, first 3 up of the inning. Hopefully they get something going, get Taylor to the plate. Just like you said, Pentrese, even if you're not going to score runs off the starter, let's drive his pitch count up and get him out of the game and get into that terrible White Sox bullpen. Yeah, he's probably just going to let him wear it at this point. If you're down 4-0, I mean, if the Mets come out here and score 3 runs and make it close, then I can see the strategy changing. But if the Mets come up here and go down 1-2-3, he's just going to let Canning go out and wear the loss. Might end up being a punt game if it gets out of hand early. And the Mets seem to have a lot of those, man. It's annoying to me. You see so many punts, and yes, I understand you don't want to tear up the bullpen, but you do have a day off tomorrow. They're talking about maybe adding Blackburn in as a 6th starter the next time through, next week on the road trip. So, I don't know. Could you maybe get a little bit out of your bullpen and try to win the game? I don't think they will. But I'm just so sick of it seems like they punt a game every single series. First pitch to Vientos is a ball inside, 1-0. Vientos has to get it going. It's a nice strike on the corner, 1-1 now to Vientos. I mean, this guy has pedestrian stuff. He doesn't have great stuff, but he just pitches well. He knows how to hit his spots. Just drive his pitch count up and try to get him out of the game. Now 1-2 on Vientos as he takes a fastball up and in the zone, I should say. And Vientos strikes out on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. Yeah, and I think the thing is too, we're getting a little healthier. Like you have Montas going through rehab starts. You have Blackburn, who was supposed to make one more rehab start, and I guess it got rained out. I don't know if he did like a simulated game. So you have reinforcements coming, which I think then could push someone else to the bullpen. Like I think that Blackburn is going to be a spot starter, but he's also going to be mainly pitching out of the bullpen, kind of your long guy. And then I think McGill should be pushed to the bullpen once Montas and Minaya are back. I think McGill works better as a bullpen piece if he can just go all out and throw hard and throw his best stuff for an inning or two. I think he can be dominant there. I think that's where McGill really should have been all along. But they just see his stuff and think that maybe he could be a starter. But he always runs out of gas in the 5th inning, the 6th inning. Like, make him a long guy, or I think he could even be a dominant back end guy. He has the stuff for it. I can't believe I'm actually rooting for the Braves too, playing against the Phillies. The Phillies just seem to never lose lately. And this is an opportunity. The Mets should be winning these games. I know they took the first two, but this is one that you should sweep. You're playing a terrible team. All these games matter. I know it's only May, but it's almost June. Like the games all matter. McNeil's now has a 3-1 count. He's the only one who seems to be getting the memo, taking pitches and trying to get on base here, trying to get the pitch count up. He fouls one back. Yeah, I think we go to a six-man rotation, but you're going to have Montas and Mania back, so you're still going to have seven starters for six spots. So I think that's when McGill kind of goes back, and really you have eight starters because you have Blackburn too, right? So you would have Senga as McNeil gets a walk, Senga, Canning, Clay Holmes. Who am I missing? David Peterson, Montas, Mania, and then you have Blackburn and McGill there as well. So really, you have you have an extra starter there, and I think that would mean if you put McGill in the bullpen where he could be a little bit better, I think that's the way to go. And you still keep him stretched out, like maybe you still have him go 2 or 3 innings so that if he has to make a spot start here and there, he still can. But kind of like in the Kranick role where they tried to have Kranick go 3 innings early in the season, it didn't really work out. Maybe you have McGill be that guy who can be your 3 inning pitcher. When your starter gets knocked out in the fourth, he can pitch 3 innings. We got Torrens up here. He's got a 2-0 count with McNeil at first base. I mean, this is good. Run the pitch count up. Make him throw some pitches. He's only at 31 here with one out in the second. Strike on Torrens. It's now 2-1. That's another strike. It's 2-2 now on Torrens. So after getting the ahead in the count 2-0, it's now 2-2. I like Torrens. I'm glad he's getting a lot of the playing time. I mean, Alvarez, I still have faith in that eventually maybe he'll turn into a semblance of what we thought he would be. But right now, Torrens just gives you he's the better option. He should be playing more than Alvarez, just because if you're trying to win, Torrens has been better. He's been a better hitter. He's been a better defender. He's probably the best in the league at throwing runners out. So, I mean, Alvarez has been good there too, but Torrens is another level. Torrens fouls one back. It's a 3-2 count with Taylor on deck. I mean, Torrens is hitting .275. And that's a ball 4, so Torrens goes to first, and now the Mets have runners at first and second with one out. So they've had traffic on the bases here in the first 2 innings. Just need to see them get some runs here. This is where they've struggled all year. Runners in scoring position. They got a runner at second base. Taylor hopefully can come through here, and then you go to the top of the order, Lindor, Nimmo, Soto, but those guys have struggled mightily too. Although Nimmo, since coming back to the 2-hole, has looked a little bit more like Nimmo. Yeah, I think they're really going with the strategy of trying to get this starting pitcher out of the game and know that they've got a really weak bullpen that they can hit. So it's what the Mets seem to do. That's why I feel like they never get going until the 7th or 8th inning. They just try to grind at bats against the starter, and then they hit the bullpen. But it's really been the bottom of the order with the best at bats for a while now. you're not seeing great at bats out of the top of the order. Although Lindor's starting to hit a little bit more, and Alonso's had a couple home runs in the last few games. It's really been the bottom of the order that's been grinding at bats and been doing a lot of the damage. First pitch fastball for a strike, so it's 0-1 on Taylor now. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Like, it's kind of weird that I trust Tyrone Taylor in this spot more than I would Soto, but it's a double play ball, 6-4, but he's safe at first. So, fielder's choice there. Taylor is safe at first, runners at first and third, but now there is 2 outs with Lindor coming to the plate. So, not a great job there by Taylor, but at least it wasn't a double play. Mets are now 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position on the day. And now Lindor gets a spot. Lindor just seems to be late on the fastballs lately. Fouls one off his leg, 0-1. They've all seemed to be late on fastballs, and I think that's because they're guessing. It's almost like they're looking for the off speed and then get surprised that it's a fastball down the middle of the plate. They're showing all the Mets players on the big board there with Hawaiian shirts on. Lindor flies one foul into the seats, so it's 0-2. Yeah, I don't love the the Chavez approach. I don't think they're going to do anything about it. I think we talked about it on the last stream too. Like, I just don't think that the Mets are in a position right now, being 13 games over 500, that they're going to start firing people. But you could definitely see it's since Chavez has been there, they just, a lot of at bats look weird. Like, you look at other teams, you really look at other teams and they're attacking. Like, you look at the best offenses, right? The Yankees even. The Yankees don't have the same caliber of players that the Mets have offensively, other than Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is the best hitter in baseball. But they're attacking and they're going after. They're looking for their pitch, and when they see it, they hit it. It's not like they're going up there with an approach of trying to hit it the other way. Like you said, letting the ball get as deep as possible. Uh, you know, it's really, I think it's ruining Soto. I think that's the issue Soto's having, because Soto was never late on fastballs before this year. He wasn't. If he got a fastball, he was hitting it a mile. He didn't get thrown very many fastballs. And this year he's just been late on everything. Lindor's been late on everything. It's I don't love it. But we got a 3-2 count here on Lindor. Driving up the pitch count at least a little bit here. And Lindor pops it up in the infield at third base. So the Mets are now 0 for 3 in this game with runners in scoring position, and they go down without scoring here in the second inning, and they are losing 4-0 to the White Sox with 1 hit in 2 innings. Now, they have had base runners, they've had opportunities, but once again, it doesn't really matter if they have opportunities because they're just not driving them in. So another disappointing inning, and I'm sure you're going to see Canning go back out there. Maybe he can settle in, give you a couple more innings without giving up another run. We'll see. But I think at this point, with the Mets not doing anything offensively, they're going to let him go until his arm falls off and let him eat the loss. So if he gives up a couple runs, I think they're going to just let him stay out there. Yeah, I'll check that out. I generally don't watch other like Met content creators, not because I don't like them. Like, I think a lot of them are great. I just don't watch a lot of them because I like to form my own opinions, and I don't like to necessarily hear someone else's opinion and then feel like I'm taking it or I'm using it in some way. I don't like to do that. Not that I don't. I think they're good. Like I've watched them in the past, and I've watched guys like Wardy and CP. Like I've watched those guys, but I just don't anymore because I don't want to like feel like I'm stealing their ideas or taking anything that they say and using it for my own. I do listen to like radio guys, or I watch at least YouTube videos of their kind of clips and everything. From WFAN or Michael K or something like that. But I try not to watch other like YouTubers. So let's see what Cannon can do here. Maybe he can settle in. Oh yeah, there's some guys who are like super prepared. Like there's a couple podcasts that are like they pull out stats. I do that sometimes. Like when I make videos, I'll pull up stats and like go over some of it. But I don't know. Like those guys must spend hours and hours just researching all that stuff. And I don't know who has time for that. If you're making money and doing it as your career, sure. Uh, I'm not at that point, so. So Cannon gets ahead 0-2 on the first batter of the inning here. He's got 57 pitches on the day, so I mean, if he can settle down a little bit here, you can see him try to get through five. He's just got to get through these innings quick. 1-2 count, and it's another hard hit ball down the left field line. Nimmo gets to it. He gets to it pretty quickly, but Sosa's going to cruise into second for a double. So, not a great start here to the third after the first two bad innings for Canning. I don't know how long. I mean, I'm sure they're just going to let him eat this one at this point. At least make him get through this inning, maybe one more. Try to save the bullpen as much as possible. Starts off the next hitter, 1-0. These aren't fun games to go live for. I guess they are, because you could just kind of talk and you don't have to like worry about necessarily what exactly is going on in the game. Foul ball. That one was close, but it is 1-1 now. The Soto to me just seems so like he's just so nonchalant. Like he tries to make everything look like it's easy, but he's not that kind of guy. Like I said it in a video a couple videos ago, where people got on Carlos Beltran because he looked lazy when he first came to the Mets because he looked like he wasn't trying hard, but he was so athletic and so fast that he could just glide to balls and look like he wasn't giving much effort when he really was. Soto seems to be looking like he's not giving much effort in the outfield, but he doesn't have the athletic ability to make up for that when he can't get to a ball. That's what I've noticed about Soto in the outfield. He gets to what he has to get to, but anything extra, he kind of just takes it easy. He's not in any kind of rush. It's now 3-1 on Cuero, and he walks him. So now the first two batters have reached in the third. Yeah, this one could get ugly if Canning just doesn't have it. We could end up seeing a real ugly game here. Looks like Hefner's on the phone getting someone up. So maybe they're gonna maybe they're gonna get someone up here, but I don't know. Seems like it's going to be a punt. Lee squares to bunt, and he gets a good bunt down. Canning will have to go to first base to get the out, so now there's second and third, one out. And the number 9 hitter, Taylor, coming up. And Taylor's dangerous. He has not been good, but he has some power, and he can beat out a ground ball. So if Canning can get through this inning without giving up another run, then the Mets still have a shot. If he gives up a couple runs here, it's going to be tough to come back here down by 5 or 6 in the first, the third inning. They have Brandon Waddell getting up in the bullpen. I mean, it's possible that they just go to Waddell, let him pitch 4 innings, and then DFA him or send him down. I don't know if he has options. Now, Rojas is up at the plate. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't Taylor. It was Rojas up at the plate. My fault on that. It's now 1-1 count on Rojas. A guy who's hitting 151 on the year with a 432 OPS. But with the way Canning is pitching today, everyone looks like an all-star. There's a foul ball, 1-2 on Rojas. Former Met killer, Rojas, when he was a Marlin. He used to always kill the Mets. And that's ball up and in, 2-2 count. Mendoza does not look thrilled about this game. They're showing him on TV right now in the dugout. The ground ball by Taylor. No, Alonso was going to try to throw home, but decided against it, tagged the runner out at first. The runner from third does score, and now it is 5-0 White Sox here in the third inning. Got the out, but a run did cross the plate. Now there's a runner at third with 2 outs. It was the correct choice by Pete there, because if he did make that throw home, he was going to be safe. So he took the out. And we know how Pete makes throws to home. Doesn't work out well. So I'm glad he did not make that decision. The umpire calls timeout. Now we have Taylor up at the plate. He is batting 194 with a 585 OPS. So the bottom of the order here for the White Sox is just not very good. There's ball 1-1-0 now to Taylor. Canning's up to 71 pitches now. It's very possible that they just pull him after this and go to Waddell and just have him try to go out there and get 3 or 4 innings. 2-0 now. He's just having problems with command. And he's not throwing the fastball very much. It's been a lot of off speed. It's been a lot of changeup. Not really what you see. You see a lot of sweeper from him normally. The sweeper, slider, and then the fastball. But he's been a lot of changeup today. And there's a strike, 2-1. If he could put them there every time, he'd be pretty successful. And that one's low. It is now 3-1. 3-1 count to Taylor, the 9-hitter in the lineup. If Waddell's ready and he walks him here, I could definitely see Mendoza going to the bullpen and getting Waddell. And he walks him. Doesn't look like Mendoza's coming out of the dugout. He's going to let him get at least one more batter. Yeah, not what you wanted to see here. Especially with the offense struggling. And Darling just said it on the broadcast that this should be Canning's last hitter here. I agree. Hopefully it's not out of hand. That is ball 1 in the dirt. He just has no command right now, not even of his fastball. He can't even get his fastball over the plate. And it's really strange because he's been really their most consistent guy all year. That is ball 2. It is now 2-0. Neither pitch was particularly close. That is a generous strike call. Looks like it was above the zone, but Canning gets the call there. It's 2-1. You got Talkman on deck, who you probably don't want to see in this inning. And Meidroth fouls one off. It's now 2-2. See Canning get out of this inning without giving up too much more damage here as he throws over to first. Pickoff attempt unsuccessful. Taylor gets back safely. I mean, I don't think today is a strategy issue for Canning or whatever. I think he just doesn't have it. Fly ball to left. Nimmo gets under it, and that will end the inning. So the Mets do get out of the inning, giving up 1 run, and they trail now 5-0 to the White Sox in the middle of the 3rd inning. And they got to start hitting. You got Nimmo, Soto, Alonso coming up in this 3rd, and Mets just got to hit. Listen, if you go out there and score 3 runs right here, you're right back in the game. But if you go out there and go down 1, 2, 3, it's probably getting to the point where you're not going to come back. You got to go out there, at least get a run or 2. Just put some pressure. The White Sox aren't a good team. You put a little pressure on them, and they might start giving it up. It's just another one of those day game, end of series thing that the Mets just have an issue with. Mets are 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position today with 4 men left on base. They also have 2 errors on the game. Brett Beatty and McNeil. I still think this will end up being a game. I just have that feeling that in the 8th inning, the Mets will be within a run or 2. It just always seems to go that way. Yeah, that definitely cost us. I mean, how many is Canning? It's only 3 earned runs for Canning because of those 2 errors, but still. Like the defense has been terrible all year, and it's a lot of times guys you don't expect. Like Lindor has not been good defensively this year. He has 7 errors already this year. He had 12 all of last year. And a lot of them have just been simple plays that he bobbles or just can't get to. Vientos obviously has not been good at third base, and it seems like Beatty is getting most of the third base at bats now, but Vientos has been terrible at third base. Pete's throwing has been awful. He's been getting to the balls you have to get to, but his throwing has been bad. He's been bad on pop-ups. Nimmo's definitely taken a step back defensively. That's why you'd love to be able to get Acuna in the lineup, but he's just not hitting enough. You'd love him in there for his defense. Yeah, and that it's so true. I think Lindor being struggling a little bit defensively has killed us. Yeah, it's because they have the ability. Like none of them are terrible defenders except for Vientos. Like everyone else is pretty good. Like is Jeff McNeil the best second baseman? No, but he gets the job done. He can make the plays he needs to make. Alonso can make the plays he needs to make. The outfield is good enough. Like they don't have terrible defenders. They just haven't played up to their ability. So I think that'll all even out going into the end of the year. But so far, it's just been really bad. And Nimmo now is ahead in the count 3-0 to start the third inning, and that's what we need to do. Get base runners here. He looks at a pitch, that's fine. Take a pitch there, down 3-0, or up 3-0. And I've been liking Nimmo in the second spot. He seems to be taking more pitches. I mean, this was the lineup I thought was going to be this was going to be the best lineup with Nimmo hitting second. Yeah, Nimmo gets to what he's supposed to get to, but he's lost a step. He's not getting to the same balls that he was before. He's been making plays, but I feel like the plays that he's been making is because he would normally get to a ball easily, and now he's having to dive for it or having to jump for it. Like, I don't think he's been bad defensively or hurt us defensively, but he's definitely lost a step. Like, I think his plays look a lot better because he's having a harder time getting to them. And Nimmo walks, so runner at first, nobody out for Soto. And he takes strike one, bottom of the zone there. And Soto's average is down to 227. I know he's been getting unlucky. He's hitting the ball hard. I get that. But he's been tough to watch lately. He just has nothing right now. Oh, we got a little shuffle. Soto just did a little shuffle. Only I think third time I've seen that this year. Maybe he's trying to get himself locked in. That one's up. It is now 2-1 to Soto. Imagine if Soto just locks in right here. Well, he takes a strike down the middle. It's now 2-2. But he seems to be seeing this pitcher well. Yeah, I saw he was talking about it. I didn't hear what he said. What was he talking about there? Now it is 3-2 to Soto. So Smith is now up to 55 pitches here with nobody out in the third, so they're working him a little bit. And Soto walks. So now he's walked the first two batters of the inning. It's what you got to do if you're the Mets. You just got to get base runners here, especially with Alonso coming up. One swing, this could be a 2-run game. He looked locked in that at bat. He did. You got the little shuffle. He was just seeing him well. I think if he got a pitch to hit, he was going to do some damage. Yeah, I mean, that definitely makes sense. And Stearns is someone who you don't expect to panic or make rash decisions or, but at some point, like, you would expect kind of to revert to the average. And right now they've been so bad this year that at some point they should just be on fire and then it'll all even out. But you can, like, he could say all he wants, like, focus on the at bats and how the at bats are taken, but at some point you have to start coming through too. But yeah, I mean, I agree in some way. Like, yeah, you just have to focus. You can't think of it as an at bat with runner in scoring position. You just have to take it as a regular at bat and do what you know how to do. My hope is that we're all talking about this runners in scoring position and they can't come through and all that, and we're looking at this in August going, oh, we forgot that was a problem, and they figured it out and it's all fine. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but that's my biggest hope. 1-2 count on Alonso here. But Soto's definitely, in terms of like how he's talking to the team and the celebrations and all that, he seemed to be a lot more involved and comfortable lately. The last few games, at least. I think that whole Yankee Stadium thing really just killed him because it was. I don't know that he expected, to be booed that heavily as Alonso strikes out looking. It was a borderline pitch, but it's too close to take. You gotta at least try to foul it off. Yeah, they're hitting the ball hard. They're doing, but that's my whole thing. Like, that's all well and good, and like I said, eventually I think that'll all even out, and um, that'll all work itself out in the long run. But it's just like you said, it's frustrating to watch, especially you're smoking a ball and it's just going right into someone's glove. Yeah, that was a great pitch to strike out Alonso. Beatty takes ball one. It is 1-0 now. Beatty is 0 for 1 with a strikeout on the day. He also has an error in the field, throwing error. That is ball 2. Another close pitch. Mets got the call there, but it was low. The umpiring, the home plate umpiring has been so inconsistent this year. And I'm not complaining about that as a Met fan. Over everywhere. Like, it's just been bad for every team. 2-1 as Beatty swings through a changeup. I mean, this pitcher's pretty good for an undrafted guy and a Rule 5 guy. He has pretty decent stuff, like, and he goes right after hitters. I mean, he has gotten a couple walks, but for the most part, he's going after guys. Beatty fouls one back. It's 2-2. "64 pitches now for Smith with one out in the third. Could you get him out after 4 innings? I mean, that would be a win going against their bullpen. Beatty hits a double play ball, might be too slow. Gets the out at second. Beatty is safe at first, so now you have runners at first and third. 2 outs. I saw that he got ejected. I didn't watch the video. I know he was upset about a strike call, and I didn't see exactly what happened. But Baez has kind of been resurgent this year, huh? He was really terrible the last couple years, and this year he's actually been a productive player again. The Tigers are looking really good right now. I think when I did my preseason predictions, I had them kind of hovering around 500, but they look like the best team in the American League. At least, they have Skubal, and they have some good players on that team. The American League to me is a 2-horse race. It's the Yankees and the Tigers. I don't think anyone else is really any good. You've had some runs, but nobody's really any good in the American League. Yeah. I mean, we all knew We all knew that Javi Baez had talent, and he's just been really struggling. But you could see now why everyone thought so highly of him for so long. Yeah, look, Waddell's most like he was warming up in the last inning, and I'm guessing he's coming in. What Canning was at, what, 80 pitches or close to it, so I don't think he's coming back out. I could definitely see them just telling Waddell go out there until your arm falls off, and then he's gonna end up being DFA'd or sent down. Seems to be the thing. It sucks for these pitchers because they'll come in sometimes and completely just Vientos flies one out to right field, and it is going to go. Home run, Mark Vientos, 3-run bomb to make it 5-3. Oh, I'm glad you're wrong too. He hit the home run there. 5-3. White Sox over the Mets. Great job there. We've been waiting for that all year from Vientos. He was so good last year in the playoffs in the clutch, hitting home runs, and honestly, like we've been waiting for this all year long. Maybe that sparks something with him, with the team. I don't know. We just needed to see that badly from Vientos. Hey, I'm happy you were wrong. Listen, there's no shame in being wrong. Everyone was up when he came up. Everyone was thinking the same thing, not just you. I had no confidence in him either. McNeil flies one deep to center, and it is caught, and the inning. But the Mets get back in the game here. You know, they needed that. What did I say? They needed to score 2 or 3 runs to get back in the game. Yeah, it worked out there. Hasn't worked out so far with Soto and other guys this year. He let it get deep in the zone and took it the other way. The strategy, when it works, it's great. When it doesn't, you have ugly at bats. But big inning, obviously. They needed to answer back, get on the board. They got 3 runs, got themselves back in the game. Now it doesn't seem so bleak. At least they got 3 runs. You got their starting pitcher up to close to 70 pitches now. So is he gonna? Maybe he goes one more inning, maybe 2. So you get him out of there after 4 or 5, um, and then get into their weak bullpen. So now the Mets are back in this game. It's a game again. At 5-0, it looked like it could have gotten ugly, but we'll see what happens pitching wise. I don't know if Canning's coming back in, or it's going to be Waddell. Yeah, I hope whatever works for Vientos, I'm cool with. Just hit some home runs. The Mets need his power badly. Because if you look up and down the Mets lineup, they're not super. They have power. They have guys who can hit home runs. But where's your big power coming from? Besides Alonso, it has to be Vientos. It's supposed to be Alvarez. Those are the guys who really have to step up and be your power guys. Because Soto last year in his best year hit 41 home runs, but he's generally around a 30 home run hitter. He's not. He's more like a Lindor when it comes to like hitting home runs. He's not this huge 40, 50 power guy. Now maybe he's becoming that, and maybe last year was kind of a step in that direction of being a big power guy, but he hasn't really been that throughout his whole career. So Vientos needs to step up and be that second power bat with Alonso. And Waddell is in the game now. Strike one. Yeah, this is the guy. He had a spot start early in the year, right? Or he came in relief after it was like a bullpen game, and he pitched 4 innings. I mean, we're probably going to see the same kind of thing today. Give us 3 innings. Go out there and give us 3, 4 innings, and then you'll be sent down or DFA'd or whatever. And if he can limit it, maybe give up nothing or give up 1 or 2 runs, keep it close. That's all they really need from him right now. And he strikes out the first batter. on 3 pitches. So really nice start here for Waddell. I don't see him being very long on this team, but if he gives us good innings today, he'll be remembered for that. Ball one to the second batter. It's Vargas, the most dangerous hitter so far in this series for the White Sox. 8 home runs, 26 RBIs on the season, almost an 800 OPS. (2-0) now to Vargas. Oof, I don't know where that one missed, but apparently it was a ball, so now it's 3-0. So 6 pitches in, he's gotten 3 strikes, 3 balls. And that's ball 4. So he struck out the first batter on 3 pitches, walked the second batter on 4 pitches. Looks like maybe he's a guy who does a little bit better against lefties than righties. We got Benintendi coming up here for his third at bat. He has a 2 RBI single in this game. And he pops one up on the first pitch to shallow center field. Taylor gets there to get out number 2. So now we have Sosa coming up. He's batting .273 on the year. He's 1 for 2 today with a run. Be nice to get a nice quick inning here after scoring 3 runs, get back out there on offense, try to tie the game or take the lead. These momentum swings seem to matter. You know, I was never a huge believer in it, but you can see, like, the Mets got those 3 runs. If Waddell comes out here now and shuts them down for an inning, then it does something to the Mets offense. Hopefully. 0-1 to Sosa. That pitch was inside, close pitch, 1-1. Yeah, I feel like the Mets don't care about average, and it's been a thing the last couple years. Like, I think the Mets are very analytic in terms of, launch angle and all that stuff, or I guess not even really, because apparently Chavez really isn't into all that stuff, and he's just about hitting the ball hard. But yeah, they have a lot of singles hitters in the lineup too. Like, if you look at their power numbers, they're not up there. I think they were second to last in the majors. It just seems like batting average doesn't matter, and it's still hard for me to see that. I hate looking up there and seeing Brandon Nimmo hitting .222, or Brett Beatty hitting .245, or Vientos hitting .240. But it seems like that's just the direction a lot of teams are going in, and it's more about hard hit percentage and all that stuff. So Sosa gets a base hit up the middle. Vargas will go to third. So now there's runners at first and third with 2 outs. I mean, the White Sox are feisty offensively. They get a lot of. They're almost like how the Marlins are. Like, they just death by 1,000 paper cuts. They're just like little gnats that are annoying you. They don't have a lot of power. So if they're able to string a bunch of hits together, they can score runs. But they really haven't been able to do much of that this year. And we've seen it in this series up until this game. They get a couple hits. They get some hits, but they don't. Oh, wow. Nice play by Beatty. That came up on him. Wow, that was a great play by Beatty there. Wow, that was a really nice play by Beatty. That took a bad hop. Oh, it wasn't as good as I thought. He made it look a little better, but it was a great play. That's a tough play to make. And that's why Beatty needs to play every day at third base, you know? Even if he doesn't hit like he did for a week or 10 days, he just plays better defense. He gives you a better chance to win on defense. Vientos is just not a major league defender at third base right now. Could he be in the future? Maybe. Probably not. Beatty should play there every day, and that's the reason why he makes plays like that. Now, he did have a throwing error earlier in the game, but that could happen to anyone. Mark Vientos does not make that play right there. Yeah, I'm happy for Beatty. Haven't necessarily been a believer, but I'm happy for the people that were. I hope he keeps playing this way. I'm always strange about prospects. I don't I don't believe that they're real until they're in the majors performing. Like even now, I'm high on like a guy like Nolan McLean or Jonah Tong, but pitchers I feel like are a little bit different than hitters. You can kind of tell. Yeah, Vientos is basically just a butcher at third base. He has a great arm. I wish you could use his arm in some other way. He just hasn't been he hasn't been good defensively. As a DH, hey, if he keeps hitting 3-run home runs, let him DH every day. When I've always said this, and I've told other people this and they don't really see it, but with Vientos, I always saw like a poor man's Giancarlo Stanton. He kind of, not that he has the same stance as Stanton, but just the way that he stands up there, the swing, everything. It always reminded me kind of Giancarlo Stanton. Now he doesn't have the same amount of power. He's not the same type of player as Stanton was in his prime. But that's just always who he reminded me of. And Stanton, as you know, is basically just a DH. Yeah, no, I'm starting to believe in Beatty now. I was saying like when guys first come up and they struggle or whatever, like I usually wait until it looks like a sure thing. Like even Vientos, after last year, I wasn't all that sold on Vientos. Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's just something. It's just when I look at Vientos, I see Giancarlo Stanton, especially a young Stanton. Not now with his like he changed his stance up a little bit. It's the same thing with Pete Alonso. Oh, Mike Stanton. Definitely more Mike Stanton than Giancarlo because his stance has changed over the years. But a younger kind of skinny when Giancarlo wasn't as built, he was always a big guy, but now he's like a big guy. But the younger Giancarlo Stanton or the younger Mike Stanton. Yeah, but and remember the Mike Stanton, I think he hit 50 home runs that one year. Or was he Giancarlo already by that point? I'm thinking of Stanton pre-Yankees when he was with the Marlins. Leadoff walk here to Renz. That is his second walk of the day. He walked in his last at bat as well. And now we have Taylor coming up before we get to Lindor. Taylor's at 247, one home run, 8 RBIs. I could take that. Listen, if Taylor's hitting 250 and giving you great defense in center field, yeah, he was, but that power. I mean, he had crazy power. I mean, he still does if he's ever on the field, but his power is just unbelievable. That's why I say like a poor man's uh, Stanton. He's not the same, you know, Stanton, when he was young, was like a generational kind of player. He had that great power. He was just a great hitter. I don't think that Vientos is that guy, but he's kind of a lower version of that. One and two now to Taylor. And he strikes out on a pitch almost in the dirt. Now one out, runner at first for Lindor. Guess there's some conversation about Smith right now. Yeah, that was the year before he was traded to the Yankees, I think, his MVP year. Or maybe 2 years before. I forget what the actual year was. Yeah, even if Lindor can like work a walk here or something just to push up the pitch count and maybe get Smith out of the game, that would be nice. Yeah, it's been a struggle. This whole team though, like I don't know. Even Soto is swinging at pitches I never saw him swing at before. You never saw Soto swing at balls in the dirt or 6 inches outside or inside. 1-2 count to Lindor. And we know this about Lindor. He goes through these stretches where he looks unbelievable and then he looks like he can't do anything for a while. You just hope you get him hot at the right times. As he pops one up to left field. And Benintendi gets there to make the out. So 2 outs now here, bottom of the fourth, runner at first base. After the leadoff walk, the Mets get a strikeout and a pop-up. It looks like Smith is coming out of the game now. They're going to the lefty to face Nimmo and Soto. I mean, good start by Smith, I guess, but 3 2/3 innings. He was not able to get deep into the game, and this is a good opportunity for the Mets. They just they got to the bullpen early. Yeah, I know. It's a long one. It's almost 3 o'clock. It's almost 2 hours into this game. Marathon here. There's been a lot of walks, a lot of long at bats. I mean, it seemed like Smith was pitching really well, but he just came out of the game, you know, in the fourth inning. Right, I'm wondering what his numbers are going to end up like at the end of the year because April Lindor didn't really happen this year. He had a slow couple of weeks to start the season and then took right off. So if he was second in the MVP voting last year, I wonder what his numbers will be like. I mean, he's down to 271 now. He was hitting 300 for a while. Yeah, absolutely. Especially Alonso. I mean, Alonso carried the team for the first month. There was games where they scored 3 runs and it was all Alonso. They did get lucky playing teams like the Marlins and stuff early on when they also were, when the Mets were struggling. But without Alonso and Lindor, they would be probably under 500. They'd probably be somewhere like how the Braves started out if it wasn't for Alonso. Misses with the first pitch to Nimmo. It's Isert, and he is behind 1-0. 1-1 now. Pitch up and in the zone, up and in, with Soto on deck. I mean, you could just tell Nimmo's just been different out of the two hole. It's almost like his approach has been different. And I don't know if batting cleanup or hitting fifth kind of messed with his mind a little bit, that he had to provide more power and whatever. But he just seems to be taking more pitches out of the two hole. He just seems to be acting more like the old Nimmo as he pops one out to left field. Like, even if the results aren't there, he's still been looking more like his old self. So the Mets go down with no runs in the fourth. It is still 5-3 White Sox going into the fifth. I'm assuming Waddell will still be pitching. Yeah, and that's where he should be, because I'm tired of the Nimmo like home run or nothing swing or at bats. Like, that's not Nimmo. At the end of the day, that's just not him. And I know he's not as quick as he once was, and maybe, but he doesn't clog up the bases. I've heard a lot of people say like he's slow. He's not slow. He's just more like an average runner now. I mean, he's definitely lost a step, but he's not. He's not. He's not clogging anything up. I didn't hear that earlier. Yeah, I mean he does. He looks like the new Nimmo. He looks like the old Nimmo again. Uh, who knows if that's gonna last? But right now, he's not swinging at every first pitch. He's not trying to hit home runs. He's been taking the ball, hitting it through the infield, finding a hole. And that's what he should be doing. Trying to get on base for the big guys behind him, for Soto and Alonso. I never understood hitting him fourth. I guess at the time they didn't really have another choice. They love going lefty righty, lefty righty. Um, but once they went away from that, it seems like their offense started clicking a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind. I mean, yes, Nimmo used to walk a lot. And yes, he was being too patient. He was looking for the perfect pitch instead of looking for a pitch that he could hit. It was almost like he was trying to get walks. Um, yeah, but maybe he is finding that happy medium. That's the hope. So Waddell still in? Yeah, Waddell's still in. I'm assuming he's gonna try to go at least 2 or 3 innings here with Waddell. First pitch of the inning is outside for a ball, 1-0. Strike, so it's 1-1 now on Corey Lee. And there's a pop up to left field. Nimmo takes a few steps and makes the catch. And there's one out now here in the top of the fifth. Listen, the Mets just need to keep shutting down the White Sox. Rojas comes up. He's 0 for 2 with a run and an RBI. He's hitting 148 on the year, so he seems like a guy he should be able to handle. Oh, pop up to shallow right field. McNeil goes out, makes the catch, and there's now 2 gone here in the top of the fifth. And Taylor will come up for the White Sox. Yeah, a lot of walks. A lot of walks. 0-1 to Taylor, now 1-1 with two outs here in the top of the fifth. 5-3 White Sox. Waddell has 21 pitches through an inning and two-thirds here. Very manageable. Could definitely probably go 3 or 4. There's a ball upstairs, 2-1. They're showing people in the crowd sleeping right now, passing out. 3-1. Waddell has done well against the lefties. Against the righties, he seems to be nibbling a little bit. Taylor lifts one out to left. Nimmo doesn't really have to move, gets under it, and that is the end of the top of the fifth. White Sox don't score. They're still leading 5-3. And they keep showing this lady sleeping on TV. That's embarrassing. So now for the Mets, you have Soto, Alonso, and Beatty coming up to the plate. What do you think? What do you guys think will be the plan once the Mets get healthy at pitching? You know, granted that you never know what's going to happen with pitching. Other guys could get hurt. But what would you think the plan would be when Montas, who is making rehab starts, and Manaea, who's supposed to pitch, um, a live batting practice tomorrow? What do you think the plan's going to be? Who comes out of the rotation? Does someone move to the bullpen? Just curious what you guys think. But this is where they're gonna have to kind of do it. You're into the bullpen now. The Mets need to start scoring some runs. They're 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. They've left 5 men on base. So I really think that you need to get something going here. Set the tone for the rest of the game. I'll be right back. All right, 1-2 to Soto, I guess. Doesn't look like I missed very much here. I'd like to see Soto do something here. And he strikes out. Good pitch, bottom of the zone. It was a strike. Tough one to hit. And I can't tell if Soto's getting booed or those are Pete chants. I know, people do say Pete, but it seems like he's getting booed. I can't say he doesn't deserve it at this point. I'm not a fan of booing your own players only because I think it does more damage than good. But I can't say someone shouldn't be booing him at this point. It's almost June. And also, if you pay for your ticket, you get to do whatever you want. 1-1 now on Alonso. Alonso, weak ground ball to the pitcher. Pitcher ground fields it, falls over. Still throws Alonso out at first base for out number 2. So now Beatty comes up with the bases empty and 2 outs. That was a weird play. Pitcher ended up on his back, still got up and threw Alonso out with plenty of time. Ooh, Beatty gets hit by the first pitch. Looks like it got him right in the hand. He looks like he's okay. Shook it off. Yeah, I think that's right. I think it has to be basically McGill going to the bullpen. I don't know what you do with Blackburn. I don't I don't really want to see Blackburn maybe as a long man in the bullpen or like a mop up guy. Um, if it gets Budo out of there, maybe. But I could definitely see. I know we talked about it earlier, but McGill out of the bullpen. Ooh, that hit the bat. That didn't hit his hand. That's going to get overturned. Beatty sold it well, but that's definitely going to get overturned. I mean, and honestly, that starting 6 doesn't look too bad for me. Like, we don't know what Montas is going to be. You know, we don't know. We just don't know. But Manaya, yes, he's missed all year, but maybe that's good. Listen, last year during the playoffs, Manaya, you could tell he was out of gas. He was without a doubt just completely out of gas in the playoffs last year. Maybe starting late this year is going to help him get through a full season. You know, I think we're going to have that concern with guys like Senga and Holmes because Senga's coming off a year where he didn't pitch. You know, he pitched 2 games last year, one in the regular season, one in the playoffs. Holmes obviously was a reliever up until this year, so it's possible that those guys definitely start to fall apart down the stretch or in the playoffs. But I think you have enough like Canning, Montas, and then maybe then if you still have McGill stretched out enough where he can go 3-4 innings, he can be kind of an opener. You know, go out there and give you 3 innings in a playoff game or something. Uh, I think there's a lot of options, and plus in the as we saw in the playoffs last year, starting pitching doesn't matter as much because the guys are unless you have a star like a Wheeler or something like that, they're not going 7 innings. They're not going 8 innings. You're hoping to get 4 innings out of them and getting them out of the game and getting into your best bullpen guys. So yeah, I love that there's depth now. So like yeah, even Blackburn is a bullpen guy, a long guy, a mop up role. He can still give you innings out of the bullpen if you need it, whether it's a blowout or you're up by a bunch. He can still come out there and give you a few innings. I think that's important. I think your long men in your bullpen are now more important than your starters in some ways. I don't know how they just kept that call that he got hit by a pitch. I don't know what I'm missing. I don't understand, but hey, maybe they're saying it grazed off of his elbow guard, but I don't think so. It looks like it hit right off. I didn't see it hit anything but the end of the bat. Hey, works for me. Vientos swings at the first pitch down 0-1. Swings at the second pitch down 0-2. This is the more like the Vientos we've seen this year. Vientos down 0-2 here. He takes that one for a ball, so he's 1-2. McNeil on deck. Another ball, 2-2 on Vientos. Everything's outside. They're staying away from him, which, I don't know, is the last at bat. He hit the pitch the other way, so. And he strikes out swinging on the slider, low and in. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see a scenario where Marte isn't on this team all year. Um, the only thing is, I think he provides some type of leadership. I almost see him like how JD Martinez was last year. Yes, he's not the same type of hitter, and I don't think he's like having a another coach on the bench. But I think a lot of the reason they kept JD Martinez around last year was because he was so good for the other guys, and I think that's how they feel about Marte. He's good with Soto. He's good with a lot of the young players. And they say he's not like a leader necessarily. He's more of a quiet leader. He just kind of says little things, and so I could see them wanting to keep Marte around for that reason. But yeah, I mean, eventually there's going to come to a point where they're going to want to call someone up or bring someone in, whether it's Mauricio or someone to take that spot who's just has more talent at this level or more ability now. Marte's an older guy. I love having him around, but I just don't know that he has a place on the team all year. Yeah, and I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything about Winker, how his progression's going. Actually, the last I heard was a few days ago that he wasn't really doing any baseball activities yet. So I don't know how far away he is. And I know Mauricio's been tearing it up at AAA, but I don't know when he's going to get the call. I think if he gets the call up, it's probably going to be um, Acuna going down. Only because at that point, who's going to get the at bats? Acuna's 23 years old. Like, he needs to play every day, or at least play most days. I don't know that you're doing him a service keeping him on the bench and having him pinch run. And you love to have him there, but I don't know what it does for his development. It honestly, like, I thought they were keeping Beatty on the roster this year just to be a bench bat, but he played his way in. Acuna hasn't really had the same. He started off really hot, and he looked like he needed to play more than Beatty and maybe even Vientos at times. But it's one of those things where there's really not a spot for him right now. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is frustrating. I think the 3-run homer kind of masks it a little bit, but they haven't done anything other than that one home run. They were 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position again. 2-2 here to, I forget how to say his name, Meadroth. But Waddell's in for his third inning of work. He's 3-2 now. Yeah, still waiting for Soto to break out. I'm not ready. Obviously, we can't give up on him. He's here for 15 years. Um, but still looking for that. I think there's going to be one moment that he has, whether it's a late inning home or late game home run or something like that, and it's going to spark him and set him off on a course of really getting back to who he was. But right now, it's clearly not working. Foul ball. I get it. I get why people would be upset. I can't hate him yet. I got to give him, it's long documented the guys that have come to the Mets and struggled in year one, whether it's Lindor or or um or Beltran, guys like that. They always struggle year one. I didn't think it would happen with Soto, but I know he'll be all right eventually. Yeah, I would love to have Acuna stay around as long as he's getting at bats. I think he just has to get some at bats because if he's only playing twice a week or three times a week, like I think it hurts his development in the long run. But yeah, I love having him there as the speed and defense like he's needed. And if I'm being honest, I don't think he's ever going to be a star. Like I like Acuna. I think he's a good player and he can be a good player going forward. But I don't see him as one of those. You know, I don't know if he's going to be one of those like even a starting level player, maybe a starting level player, but not an all star level player. So maybe you keep him around as a bench guy. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think you're correct in saying like he got his bag. I said it on a video a couple videos ago, basically saying like I think he has to find his new motivation. I think his motivation since he was 16 years old and was signed by a major league team, he thought his whole goal was to get that contract and to be the highest paid guy and that was his goal. And it was a good goal to have. He ended up getting the biggest contract in the history of sports. But now he needs to find a new goal. He's already won a World Series. He's been to another one. Now he's got the money. He has to tap back into being him and figuring out what he's doing it for. Maybe he should try to be the greatest player the Mets have ever had. And that should be his motivation. And win a World Series. That should be his motivation. But I feel like he's having a problem finding that. And with the Yankees, let's be honest, he had Aaron Judge hitting behind him, who's basically a historically good player, like a generational player. We call Soto generational. Aaron Judge is like multi generational. So it's a little different. He's the guy here. He wasn't the guy there. He's being pitched differently. Double there, starting off uh, by Talkman. Yeah, Talkman is he's a good baseball player. I mean, his stats for his career might not be great, but he's been great this year. He's hitting 345. He's got a OPS over 1,000. I don't know how many games he's played, but he's been good for a while. He was good with the Yankees. He had moments. He was good for the Cubs. He had his moments. Like he's just a good baseball player. Now 1-1 on Vargas. Top of the sixth, one out, 5-3. Mets are down. They have left 6 runners on base in this game. Once again. Yeah, and like we agree on Acuna that he's not going to be a superstar or a great player, but you still need those guys. Like if you look at the Dodgers, they don't just have all great players. They have their guys who play their specific roles, and to be a great team, you have to have guys like Acuna too. You have to have guys like McNeil even. He gets a lot of hate, but he's a baseball player. He could play a bunch of positions. He's just a professional hitter and a professional player. And the best teams have those kind of guys. They just don't have all superstars. Yeah, when you talk about the Dodgers, you talk about Otani and Betts and Freeman, but they also have Tommy Edman and they have, you know, uh, Max Muncy, and they just have all the way up and down their lineup. They have professional players, and you don't have to be a superstar to be a great team. Yeah, much smaller Mike Stanton. But yeah, he's been great this series. I mean, he hit a home run last night. He almost had a second one. Oh, got him. Oh, are they going to get him for blocking the bag? Well, Talkman is out at third base. Lindor heads up play, throws the runner out at third. Yeah, I thought so too. As soon as I saw it, the manager for the White Sox is arguing that he blocked the bag. I thought so too, but they're not going to call it. I mean, he definitely did, but maybe not. Yeah, yeah, he was just moving. He had the ball already. Looked worse on the live than it did on the replay. It's hard to be an umpire. We talk a lot of smack about umpires, but it's a hard job. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they won the first two. And they're struggling right now. You know, the Mets offensively are struggling, and they're still winning games. So I can't hate on them. And there's a base hit. It's gonna go to the corner. Soto fields it. They're gonna send Vargas, and he's going to score pretty easily. And Benintendi goes to third. So now it's 6-3 White Sox. Well, you knew Waddell probably wasn't going to go scoreless. Yeah, he almost had a hitch. I saw that. He double clutched the ball. He has something. He has a block with throwing the ball now. Pete is like incapable at this point of throwing the ball. He definitely had a hitch there. I don't think he would have gotten him anyway, but yes, there was he was not that was not a good relay by Pete. Pete's just very unsure of himself right now on defense. Very unsure. And I think he's bringing it to the plate. Yeah, exactly. Waddell's doing his job. You don't expect him to come in and hold them scoreless for 3 or 4 innings. You know, Cannon couldn't. You don't expect Waddell to do that. So the offense has to score. That's been their issue all year. We know it. Their pitching has been phenomenal. I can't hate on. Listen, Canning had a terrible, terrible start today, but he's been great all year. So I can't see. I can't see giving. You know, this is all in the offense. It has been all year. I don't know. I struggle with that question whether Pete is returning next year. I think. I would like him to if it was up to me. Yes. Um, but I think Stearns is just going to be smart with it again, and he's going to say, go find your market. Go see if you can get the money you're looking for, the years you're looking for. I don't see Stearns giving him 5 years, and I think that's what Pete's going to want. You know, he's going to be 31 years old. He wants security for the rest of his career. He'll be 36. You know, sign until he's 36. Yeah, I like Clifford, but you have a known quantity in Pete. Is he the best first baseman in baseball? No. But you know what you have, and you know you have power. He's a fan favorite. He's a lifelong Met. He came up with the team. Do I think he's great? No. Do I think he's worth the $30 million a year he's being paid this year? No. Would I give him 5 or 6 years or 7 years? No. But I'd want him back if they work out a good deal. I don't care what the deal is. To me, on that's irrelevant. But what I mean is Stearns is going to care what the deal is, and he's not going to overpay. He'll overpay for a year. He's not going to overpay for 5 years or 4 years or 5 years. Yeah, exactly. We don't know what Clifford is. He could be a star. He could be nothing. I'm not a prospect hugger in any stretch of the imagination, except for when it comes to pitching, because the Mets are never going to spend on pitching. There's another base hit. It's now 7-3. White Sox. I'm for hugging pitching prospects. I'm not for hugging everyday prospects. Because Stearns is never going to spend money on starting pitching. He's shown that he's not going to do that. He's about developing pitching. But Jet Williams, Ryan Clifford, all these guys, I like Carson Benj a lot. I think Carson Benj is going to be a good player. But they're fine if I'm fine if they want to trade them. Yeah, he's just a goofy guy. I don't think it's bad for the clubhouse necessarily or anything like that. I think he's not a he's not a goof that people don't like. He's like, your goofy friend that you kind of, you goof on, you make fun of him, but he's still your friend and you still like him. Yeah, he's just a genuine guy. There's a ground ball to third. Beatty goes to second, and the inning finally comes to an end. But the Mets are down 7-3 going in to the bottom of the sixth. Mets need to start hitting. It's as simple as that. I say it every inning here. They just need to hit. We have McNeil, Torrens, and Taylor coming up. This part of the lineup has done damage recently. It's the top of the order that's really been not carrying their weight. Yeah, but I am a Pete Alonso fan. Like, do I think he's the best player on the team? No, but I still like him, and I think he still has a great role in this team. You need that that power guy. You need that home run hitter, that goofy home run hitter. And we've heard Keith Hernandez say it so many times. Guys who hit 40 home runs don't grow on trees. So letting a guy like Pete Alonso walk, it might end up being a mistake. But that's a question for the offseason, I guess. Yeah, and I think for a first baseman, that's the most important thing, right? Especially those picks. You know how many errors Lindor has a terrible arm. Not a terrible arm, but he has a very average arm, below average arm. You know how many errors Alonso saves Lindor? He saves him a lot of errors. I've noticed that since Lindor's been here. And I think that's the most important thing for first baseman. How often, and we've seen it a lot lately because Pete has the yips, but how often is a first baseman really making big throws? It's not that often. Guys, this is a good opportunity. If you're here and you are not subscribed, please subscribe, give me a like, all that kind of good stuff, and join in the discussion. I want to hear what everyone has to say, not only about this game, but this one's not such an entertaining game if you're a Met fan, so let me know what you guys want to talk about. If there's something you want to go over, a question, even talk to each other in the chat, do whatever you want. But please, if you're not subscribed and you like this kind of stuff, I am going to start going live more and more games, as well as putting out, my regular videos that I've done for a while. Just hit that subscribe, turn on notifications, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think that's true too. Like, we have bigger issues right now than Pete. You know. Thanks, I appreciate it. I like doing it too. It's better sometimes when you do videos and you have a plan and you have to talk about certain things. I'd rather just do this and talk about whatever comes up or what's happening in the game. It's more fun, honestly. And there's one out now. The rain, it looks like it's starting to come down. I have a feeling this might end up being a shortened game. Apparently, once it was started raining, what I was seeing in the weather before, it was just going to rain all night. So if they end up going to a rain delay and end up stopping this game early, it's going to be a tough one. I don't think they're going to come back. And now they're far enough into the game where it'll be a complete game. Ooh, got that right in the heel of the glove. There's a ball outside. It's 2-0 now to Terrens. Mets, if they're going to start scoring, they better start scoring quickly because I got a feeling once this rain starts picking up, this one's going to get called. 3-0 now to Terrens. Terrens have been very, very patient today. He's already got 2 walks in this game. Oh, it is. It is Vassal pitching. Okay. Ooh. Well, they're showing the upcoming Rockies series pitching matchups. Listen, the Rockies are even worse than the White Sox. But if the Mets don't hit, it doesn't matter who they play. You have to hit and score runs. That's how you win baseball games. So, yeah, I really like Terrens. I really like Terrens. All right, now you have Young pinch hitting here for Taylor. Strike 1 on the curveball. Honestly, Terrens has to play because he's another one who kind of provides you with more. Um, like you said, he does the little things. That's why I think he has to play. Oh, nice. Enjoy the game on Friday. I've only been to one game so far this year. There's been a couple games I thought about buying tickets to, but the weather's been bad and I didn't want to risk it. I'm like a day of, like, I'll buy tickets the morning of the game. Like, I'll wake up and be like, I feel like going today, and then you can get cheaper tickets that way too. But I generally try to get out there at least 3 or 4 times a year. Yeah, I try not to even start buying tickets till like June, so you know the weather will at least mostly be okay. As Young strikes out there for out number 2. But I did go to the first series of the year. I went to the third game against the Blue Jays. Oh, okay, nice. How's that stadium out there? I know they're not going to be there forever, but I know there was some complaints because there's the bathroom situation and where the batting cage is and all that. But is it just a regular run of the mill? Yeah, like there's one by me, a minor league stadium that I've gone to a couple of times, and it's I couldn't imagine a major league team playing there. Like I don't. I know it's the A's and maybe they don't draw as well, but it's just crazy. Lindor almost offers at that fastball up, but he does lay off, and it's 1-2 count. Yeah, Lindor has been looking bad lately. He's still getting his base hits every once in a while, and he got the sac fly the other night and whatever. But I don't know. He just when he slumps, and he strikes out there. So after 6, the Mets are down 7-3. Yeah, when Lindor slumped, and the Mets, I think that's a big thing too. When they have such streaky hitters, whether it's Lindor or Nimmo or Alonso or Vientos, like these guys are just so streaky. When they're hot, the Mets can't be beat. And then when they go cold, it seems like they all go cold at the same times and at time, and they can't get a hit. Yeah, get it out early. And I also know the weather's been terrible, but the Mets have played well at home, so I don't even know if that's an excuse. But the weather's been bad, unpredictable, cold. A lot of these guys play better when it's warmer, when it's. I just feel like they've never clicked, and that's what it feels like to me. They've never clicked. They just haven't. It's so inconsistent. Yeah, and it's crazy. And I guess they say hitting is contagious, right? But so is not hitting. I feel like then everyone starts to press and starts to do too much. I think other teams figure out the hitting approach, and they attack it, and they know what you're trying to do. I think that's a huge part of it as well. I think they're major leaguers too, and they know what your approach is coming up, so they try to counteract that. But I don't think the Mets always make the adjustment right away of then counteracting the counter. It's all like a cat and mouse game, and I think the Mets don't always. They try to play their game instead of adjusting and reacting. Right, and you see like you'll see a few innings where they look like they're clicking, or a few games where they look like they're clicking, but they haven't sustained it. But once that happens, they can be dangerous with the pitching the way it's been. You just hope that the pitching doesn't regress just in time for their offense to start clicking. That's my biggest fear is now all of a sudden their offense will start to click and then their pitching goes in the shitter, right? Waddell is still pitching in this game. This is his fourth inning of work. He's given up 2 runs. Listen, he's done what he needed to do. This is what they've needed. They just needed him to come in and kind of settle the game down. Yes, he's given up a couple runs, but he's done his job today. As long as he doesn't start giving up more. I mean, he's already thrown 60 pitches in this game. Yeah, it's important. You need a guy like this just to eat innings in a game that you're probably not going to win. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you're down by 4 in the 7th. I don't think it's over. There's a base hit right there going down the line. Soto gets to it, and the runner holds it third because he thought it was foul. So now you have second and third, nobody out. A base hit here really just kind of kills you. So yeah, I would definitely say that it seems like they're punting this. You would think now in the 7th maybe you go to some of your better bullpen arms, especially with an off day tomorrow. But Mendoza does this a lot. He understands. Listen, we won 2 out of 3. We're fine. Let's just let's just take the rest and whatever. I don't love that. I don't love that idea of doing that, but it's Mendoza does. And I like Mendoza. I don't complain about him. I mean, at the end of the day, wouldn't you rather get blown out than have them fight back and lose by 1? I don't know. I'd like to know the game's over now. And a base hit here pretty much does that. I'm still going to keep watching because the Mets do come back sometimes from some crazy deficits, but I know it's the White Sox, but if you take that out of it, I'd rather lose by 10 than lose by 1 in the ninth inning. especially once you already have the 2 wins in the bag. If this was the first game of the series, it would be more worrisome. But I get it. Yeah, that game, honestly, listen, I caught a lot of smack for that, especially, well, I was making videos on TikTok and I called that game that the Mets lost a 7-1 lead the worst loss of the year and an unexcusable loss, and so many people were saying, "No, this is just a normal loss. People this happens all the time." No, losing a 7-1 lead after the 6th or 7th inning is not a normal thing. That doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen to every team. It doesn't happen every year. It's a crazy thought. No, I agree. They shouldn't be losing any games to the White Sox. But I'd still rather it happen like this, so I'm not stressed at the end of the game. I've already, at this point, I've already accepted a loss, and if they win, I'll be happy. There's a line out to left field. Another run will score. It is 8-3, with now 1 out in the top of the 7th. Mets are now losing by 5. Oh, you're right. I mean, they shouldn't. It's definitely an issue they've had all year, playing down to their competition, playing bad against bad teams. You're right. But to me, a loss is a loss, whether it's by 10 or by 1. I'm just saying for my own mental mental thing, I'd rather just know that it's over and hope that they win. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see Acuna play, but I think with the way that Beatty's been playing lately, he has to be in there. Yeah, Lindor's in one of his slumps. I think you just have to live with that with guys like Lindor because you know that eventually he's going to be fine, but you have to live with he's just this type of guy. He's a streaky guy, and he's always going to be. Um, yeah, he's 0 for this series, but before this series, he came into it hot. He was their offense basically in much of the Boston series. So 3-2 count here. Waddell. I guess they're just gonna let him eat it at this point. You could definitely say this is a punt now, without a doubt. And the rain looks like it's coming down a little harder. Just so you guys know, if this goes into rain delay, I'm just gonna say have a nice day because I don't think there's any reason to stick around. It'll end up getting called pretty quickly, I think, with this score and how late it is in the game. I agree with you there. I cannot stand Buto. And the fact that Mendoza uses him still as like a late inning reliever as if he's good. I don't understand that. Ever since I mean, yes, there was stretches last year where Buto was good, But for the most part, especially in big situations, Buto was not very good last year. I think people were kind of fooled. Like, maybe his numbers weren't bad, but watching him, he was never a top reliever. I never felt comfortable with Buto in the game last year. Early in the season, very early in the season, I did. But as the season went on, I lost complete confidence in him. And then in the playoffs, especially against Milwaukee, once he gave up those 2 home runs, he's never been the same since. I mean, luckily for the Mets, they have the Rockies coming up, who are the worst team in baseball. Hopefully, that's a sweep. You know, you're still taking 2 out of 3 from this team. If they go 4-1 in these 5 games, I'll take that. I mean, sorry, 5-1. Well, Nunez had an issue with his command, and he was back, but then he had that issue with his command, and they sent him back down. I don't know if there was an injury. I saw maybe had an injury. I'm not sure what's up with Nunez. But yeah, he had to go work on some stuff in the minors. He has great stuff, and he has the ability to be a really great late inning reliever. Now his command has just been really bad in the minors and in the majors this year. So maybe, but at the end of the day, suck it up. You're in the major leagues. We made that mistake with Lugo. I don't know how has Lugo been this year. Has anyone kept an eye on Seth Lugo? I know he had a great year last year, and Waddell gets out of the inning. Waddell gives 4 innings, gave up a couple runs. Listen, I can't complain about what Waddell just did. He did his job. Did he do it spectacularly? No, but he gave you innings. He ate innings, and that's all you could have asked out of him today after a terrible start by Canning. Yeah, I'm not ready to give up on Alvarez, but I agree he's been really, really bad. And I like McNeil. I'm sorry, like there's a lot of McNeil haters out there. I'm not one of them. I don't think he should be. I don't think he should be an everyday player necessarily, or like have a certain position. But I love having him on the team because he can play different positions, and he's at least adequate at so many different positions. He's just a guy you want on the team. I don't know that he meshes well personality wise with guys like Lindor and Soto and all that, but he is, he's just a baseball player. Yeah, but now you play a balanced schedule, so you're playing the NL and AL the same. Yes, you don't play your division as much, so I don't know that that stuff really matters much anymore. Whether you play in the AL or NL, I agree the NL is much better. But yeah, I'm not ready to give up on Alvarez. I'm not loving what I'm seeing. Well, I wouldn't go that far. The Rockies are in a league of their own, being bad. But yeah, the White Sox are almost as bad. I think Judge would be a great hitter no matter where he played. I know he would have never left the Yankees. I know Judge was going to be a Yankee because they weren't going to let him go. But I wish Cohen would have driven the price up. He would have never come to the Mets. But I wish that Cohen just said, "Oh, I'll give you 500 million," just so the Yankees had to pay more. Base hit for Nimmo up the middle. You don't think Judge would be great no matter where he is? I'm not downing you. I'm asking you legitimately. Yeah, but anyone against top pitchers is going to struggle. Not everyone, but let's hope so. But they play NL teams, so it's not the same as it used to be where you're only playing or you're only playing NL teams for 19 games a year. You're playing more throughout the season. So maybe he wouldn't be as good, but I think he'd still be a great hitter. I mean, you don't hit 60 home runs and not be a great hitter. Soto hits a weak ground ball to first. Yeah, Soto's getting booed pretty bad, it seems like. And he deserves it. Let's face it, like, it's almost June. It's time to start doing what you're paid to do. Like I said before, I'm not for booing players, but or booing your own players, but he deserves it. If anyone deserves it, it's him right now. Yeah, I agree there. Judge is. Yeah, I don't know. Soto, he has just he's either hits it 110 miles an hour right at the right fielder or he hits it on 16 hops to the first baseman. I don't understand. Yeah, no, I agree with you now. I wouldn't personally because it's just not in my DNA to do that, but I don't have any problem with other people doing it at this point. Alonso hits one at the second baseman for an easy 4-3. Yeah, I mean, it seems like maybe they just figured something out with Soto, the pitchers, and he has to adjust. I don't know. I also think he's just he has no timing. He's late on fastballs. I don't. He's never been late on fastballs before, and his bat speed has gone down like by 5 or so miles per hour. Like his bat speed is down. I'm 35. Yeah, Nimmo doesn't seem like the same. Seems like that's a bad. It's gonna end up being a real bad contract. But the Mets are definitely a. I'm sorry, I forgot. The Mets are the kind of team that could definitely eat that contract if need be. I listen. I get it, but I don't think Juan Soto just forgot how to play baseball over one off season. I think he'll be fine. Beatty takes strike three, and the inning is over. So, brutal inning there. Top of the order just doesn't do much of anything. Lindor 0 for 4, two strikeouts. Nimmo, he's 2 for 3 with a walk and a run, so he's performed well today. Soto 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout, and Alonso is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. So, yeah. Yeah, I think he's gonna have. Honestly, if you look at what he's gonna be this year, he's not gonna be the same guy. Like, if last the rest of the season, yeah, his numbers aren't gonna look the same this year, and it seems like he's really just gonna not have a great first year. But I'm not gonna say like he's not gonna be Soto for his contract. Bad years happen. Bad halves happen. I didn't think it was going to happen with him just because I thought he was too good for it to be him to be this bad for this long. But I could definitely see I could definitely see a bad first year, like the whole year being bad. Yeah, I mean they're not coming back in this game. I wouldn't think, but I've seen crazier things, I guess. Yeah, I think Beatty has to play because he's just better at third base. Unless you're going to have Acuna play third base, like Vientos just can't play third base. So even if Beatty doesn't hit, he still gives you a better chance to win because of his defense at third. Yeah, one bad throw. That happens, man. I can't believe Waddell's still out there. Well, he's gonna either I don't know if he has options left or I think he does if they were able to option him before, but yeah, he's not going to be on the team tomorrow. He'll probably be optioned right after the game or DFA'd if he has no options. And he knows that. I mean, he knows going into this game that once he came in, if the Mets didn't start to score, he was just going to pitch as much as he could. And he hasn't pitched in 10 days. I also don't think anyone here is a Brett Beatty fan. We're just not like we just haven't given up on him yet. You know, there's a difference between like being a fan and being giving up on a 25-year-old guy. I'm not. Nobody here is saying he's going to be a superstar or even an all-star. Some guys take longer to develop. Well, I'm a fan. I'm not saying I'm not a fan, but like I'm not necessarily I'm not a believer that he's going to be great. I think that's more what he's talking about. So Waddell gets the strikeout there. Yeah, I mean, for me, like you could come in here and say whatever you want. I'm not one of those people that's gonna be. I don't block people. I don't. I want discussion. You could discuss whatever you want. There's a home run for Benintendi. Yeah, I agree with you. I think he has a chance to be a good player. I don't think that it's set in stone that he's going to be great or set in stone that he's going to be bad. I think I'm still in wait and see with Beatty, but I think he could be something or he might be nothing. I'm just not sure yet. And I've really gone back and forth so much on him. I was excited after his spring. I thought he was going to have a good season, and then he started off slow. I just I don't know what to think about him yet. McNeil gets the grounder, throws the first for the out. Yeah, you got to feel for Waddell here. He's just, he's wearing it. He's just doing what he's got to do. This game is, from the Mets' perspective, a done deal. So they're just, I mean, he's almost at 100 pitches now out of the bullpen. But these are the kind of games that your teammates love you for. They know that, listen, they're probably not going to win this one. This guy ate a bunch of innings, and his teammates are going to love him for it. And he gets out of the inning. So Waddell, what did he go? 5 innings in this game? Yeah, 5 innings for Waddell. Gave up some runs, some hits, he wasn't great, but he did what his job was. Yeah, and from everything that's been said about Beatty, especially by like Mendoza, is that he's always acted like the same guy, but now you can see a different level of confidence in him, and he feels like he belongs, and he feels, that's all Mendoza can talk about with Beatty is that they all know he has talent. Everyone knows he has talent, but it's always been like a confidence thing, or like he's trying to get his feet wet or whatever, and he just now he seems like a different guy. Now, does that mean that he turns into a great player? I don't know, but at least it's a positive sign for him. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have. I would hope they're not gonna have Waddell pitch the ninth. He's already at 93 or 94 pitches, maybe 95. I don't know, but I think it'd be kind of detrimental for Waddell to have him go out there and pitch the ninth. I think Soto's just lacking confidence altogether right now. I don't think he's, to him, ever been necessarily feeling this bad at the plate. But you saw the Soto shuffle today. I was almost like, oh, maybe he's starting to feel a little more comfortable, and then he wasn't able to do anything. Vientos leads off, takes the pitch inside here in the bottom of the eighth inning. Yeah, I mean, Soto struggled his first year in San Diego, if I'm not mistaken, too. Um, the only time he didn't struggle with a new team was last year with the Yankees, but he also had Aaron Judge hitting behind him. So I'm not worried long term about Soto, but I'm worried that this year is going to be a lost year for him. Yeah, Manny and Tatis are not Judge. If you're trying to say that like Soto's not a great hitter because he's had great guys behind him, I just don't buy that for a second. And there was rumors that he was bad in San Diego, but he didn't get along with the clubhouse. Like nobody knows exactly what the story is, but apparently it was Machado and him did not get along. Um, yeah, no, Tatis is not a better hitter than maybe a better all-around player, but not a better hitter than Judge, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't even think it's close offensively. Judge is way better than Tatis offensively. McNeil gets a base hit here with one out. It goes to the wall. He's going to go to second for a double. Would disagree that Aaron Judge isn't better than Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, or Acuna? Is that what you're saying? So we have Torrens up here with 3 walks on the day, 1-0 count. I really doubt that 95% of MLB experts would say that Mookie Betts is a better hitter than Aaron Judge. I understand that you think that, and that's fine. Like, you're entitled to your own opinion, but I don't think 95% of Major League Baseball experts would say that. I still wouldn't even say Tatis is a better all around. Like, if you take in, yes, Tatis is better probably defensively, and he can steal bases, and he's more exciting. He's more of an electric kind of player. But Aaron Judge, yes, and and Aaron Judge has not been great in the postseason. Oh, sorry, Ken. I thought you were saying that Mookie Betts was a better hitter than Aaron Judge, or that Aaron Judge is. I'm sorry. I thought you said 95% of people would say that Aaron Judge wasn't a good hitter or something. But yes, I agree. Beatty is much better defensively than Vientos. Yeah, and honestly, I put him above Otani because until Otani pitches, I can only go by the offense, and Judge is better offensively than Otani. I think Otani's a great offensive player, but Judge is better. But once Otani pitches, then yes, Otani goes back to being the best player in baseball if he pitches well. Young goes down swinging, check swing, does not hold it in time, and the Mets go down without scoring in the eighth. We go to the ninth inning, Mets down by 6 runs. This game's over, but I'm going to stay here. If you guys want to keep talking, that's fine. Yeah, I still think Judge is a better hitter than Otani. I don't think when it comes to baseball, I don't think like if you talk about the NBA, right? Then you get judged on your wins and your championships. When you're in baseball, it's such a team sport that it's not one guy who I like. The reason I don't really care about Jeter, I don't think Jeter's a great all-time player, is because Jeter is judged because he won so much. If you look at him offensively or as a great player, yes, he's a great leader and a great winner, but I don't think he's an all-time great. I think baseball has to be, uh, you know, judged a little differently. I don't take individual players in baseball as if they won a championship or not. I don't think it matters as much in baseball because it's such a team sport. Thanks, D-Rels. I'm sorry you had to sit through this game. And if I could just chime in on the Beatty versus Vientos thing, I don't think anyone knows who's better at this point. I don't think anyone can say one way or the other. Vientos was great last year, with his power especially, but this year, I don't think either of them have been great. But lately, Beatty's been better. So I think it still remains to be seen who the better hitter overall will be going forward. But I don't think anyone can say definitively one way or the other. So Stanek is pitching the ninth here for the Mets. They did take Waddell out finally before he tore something in his arm. There's a fly out to right field. I mean, honestly, this is the kind of game Buto and Stanek should be pitching. They've been pretty bad lately. They need to get their confidence back, get major league hitters out. So I like this spot for Stanek here. Yeah, we have room for both of them. I hope they're both great. Vientos can DH. Beatty could play third. I think that's a good problem to have. 2-0 now here on Rojas from Stanek. Pop up, Lindor makes the catch, and there's two down now in the inning. Now we have Taylor coming to the plate for the fourth time today. He is 0 for 2 with a walk so far. One 0 to him now. This guy's trying to get a job at SNY on the TV. Says he lost his job yesterday. Is SNY hiring? Taylor pops one up behind the plate towards the stands, and it's going to go foul. So 2-1 count here on Taylor, just trying to get out of the inning. At this point, everyone at the stadium's probably just waiting for this game to be over. Stanek trying to get the out here. 2-2 count on Taylor, top of the ninth. He does not get that call. It was a close pitch, but he does not get the call. You know it's a bad game when SNY just starts going around showing people in the stands what they're doing, talking about everything non-baseball. As Stanek walks Taylor, further extending this game now. Well, if you're still here watching this incredibly boring game with me and you're not subscribed, please do so. Give me a like and join in the comments here. It doesn't have to be just about this game. You can talk about whatever you want. There's a big discussion going on between Beatty and Vientos, who's the better defender, all that kind of stuff. Join in. 0-2 now from Stanek. Base hit through the infield past Alonso. Now there's runners at first and third with 2 outs. Thank you, Ken. So the Mets are just dragging this out. Stanek once again. I think the Braves are not done. I fear the Braves more than I fear the Phillies. With Strider coming back, Acuna back now. I know offensively they haven't been great this year, but it's I don't count the Braves out. They're definitely right there, even though they've been struggling. I don't know what their schedule looks like, going forward, but I honestly, coming into the season, I thought the Braves were the second best team in baseball. And they haven't played like that, but they've had injuries. You really think the Knicks could still win it, Ben? Knicks in 7? I don't know. The Pacers just look better. Pop up to right field. And Soto catches it to finally end the inning. We go to the bottom of the ninth, down 6 runs. Hey, maybe the Mets have some magic in them. We'll see. I hope so, Ben. Listen, I think that would be crazy if the Knicks came back and won this. I don't have very much confidence in it. Sounds like you do, and I hope you're right. I hope you're right and I'm wrong. They just look done. I mean, Josh Hart looked bad last night. And this is a Mets thing, but yeah. You think the Braves are done? I don't know. Their offense has been pretty bad, but Acuna coming back. Oh, I don't know if I'd do a Knicks game. I don't know if anyone would watch a Knicks game. Everyone that subscribes here is because they're a Met fan. I mean, maybe, but I don't really want to do a series loss for my first ever Knicks stream. That would be pretty bad. That would be a bad way to start. I can't stand Tyrese Halliburton. He's my least favorite athlete in the world right now. Hey, if they get to game 7, maybe I will. But It might just be you watching. See, I'm probably just as into the Knicks, but they get my blood pressure going too high. I like sweat watching the Knicks games just because it's so intense, especially playoff basketball. I can't. I don't know if I'd be able to be on stream, honestly. You guys would see me turn red and get sweat. It's bad. I still think the Mets could win the division. I know it's probably the Phillies are surging right now, but if the Mets can get their shit together and start hitting, I think the Mets are better than the Phillies. I think the Braves, I don't know that they're going to be able to come back from where they were, maybe, but I just don't see them winning the 90 plus games to win the division that they'll need. Um, or 93 or 94 plus probably to win the division at this point. Yeah, Hart was bad and Bridges was bad. I mean, giving up Bridges had a couple good games in this playoffs. Like there was a couple games where the Knicks don't win if Bridges doesn't play well, but to give up 5 first round picks for what he's giving you most of the time, and Hart last night just had no feel for the game. He was throwing the ball away, making terrible passes. That lost in the game. Plus Brunson just the Pacers know how to shut down Brunson. Like he scores his points, but he can't. They know how to guard him in crunch time, and Lindor goes down swinging terribly here. Yeah, I'm definitely way too young for DeBuscher. Yeah, I liked Carmelo, but he was just a scorer. That's which it seems like maybe Brunson is that too. Like Brunson's kind of just a scorer. A terrible at bat by Lindor. Nimmo comes up, takes it's 1-1 now to Nimmo. We're just running out the clock here, guys. They do mail in a lot of games, but this one was kind of over early. I agree with you most of the time that they mail in too many games. This felt like as soon as it was 4-0, didn't really seem like they could come back. And then that 3-run home run kind of gave us some false hope, but it seemed like it was over early. Well, Ben, do you think they go after Giannis, or can they even make a run at Giannis? I don't really want Giannis, but what else do you do at this point? – 3-2 on Nimmo after he fouls one off. Fouls another one off. I mean, Nimmo does this all the time. The game's over, ninth inning, and he just starts. Then he puts together a 12 pitch at bat. He's had good at bats all day, though. I'll give him that. Exactly, Ken. Tomorrow, Lindor can hit 2 home runs and be off to the races, and you can't get him out for 2 weeks. As Nimmo takes a walk here. Yeah, I think with the right team, Brunson can take over, but he in certain matchups he can't, and that's a problem. I mean, Cat took over in the fourth quarter the other night, and Brunson usually against most teams has the ability to, but against the Pacers, they're such a matchup problem. Soto grounds one foul. He's now down 0-2 in the count. Yeah, that's I could see that happening right now too. Get us all excited for nothing. That ball's inside. It's 1-2 now to Soto. I mean, honestly, right now, I wouldn't even mind if like Soto hit a home run right here or hit a double off the wall. Even if it means nothing, it could do something for his psyche. It could do something to help get him going. These are the kind of games that, yes, you lost, but late in games, if you're able to get a big hit, it could kind of get you going. Baseball's so weird like that. Instead, he hits one weakly to the second base area. It's fielded. He grounds out to first. The pitcher gets hurt covering first base. That was weird. I didn't know what exactly happened there. But he's definitely hurt. Castro is definitely hurt right now. He's hobbling. So it's going to extend this game even further. Oh, I didn't even realize this is Miguel Castro, the guy who used to pitch for the Mets. Didn't even realize that till just now. Shows how much I'm paying attention to this game. Yeah, he's definitely going to have to come out. That's terrible. Nimmo goes over, gives him a pat. You could say whatever you want about Nimmo. He's a good dude at the end of the day. And I love that we saw a little salty Nimmo at the end of the year last year when he rounded second base and stuck his tongue out at Michael Taylor. Yeah, he looks different. I think he had longer hair before. He had like braids or something before, and a longer beard. I didn't even know he was still in baseball. I thought he was out of the league. He looks like he's actually hurt. So they're gonna go to commercial again. Just want this game to be over. Yeah, I can't hate Freeman. I mean, I hate Freeman when the Mets play against him because he always finds a way to destroy the Mets. But at the end of the day, like, he's a good dude. And I think he would have loved to stay in Atlanta. It's crazy to me that there's only two players that the Braves just didn't pay or didn't try to sign early. And I don't know, maybe they did try to sign Freeman early, but it was Freeman who ended up continuing to be a star with the Dodgers, and uh, Max Fried, who is having a Cy Young season so far this year. So I don't know if those guys just knew their worth and didn't take the lower contracts, or the Braves weren't interested. I think Winker is not hasn't even really started baseball activities yet. He's from what I know he was on the field doing some running or something the other day before yesterday's game or the day before, but he's not ready. I mean, Jose Siri is already about to start a rehab assignment or something like, and we thought he wasn't coming back until July or August. I don't know what's going on with Winker. Yeah, I don't think Max Fried is going to end up being great all year. I just don't think he's as good as what he's shown this year. But I don't know because I also we also didn't think that um, Wheeler was going to go on to be one of the best pitchers in baseball either, and he did. So maybe it just took him a little longer to be that great. He was always good, just was never this good. I think Siri is definitely. I just want to see Siri for longer than we did. I don't think he's going to be a great player, but him getting some starts with Tyrone Taylor, he has power, he has speed, he adds a little bit something different to the lineup. Now, listen, he never gets on base, so in order for your speed to be useful, you have to get on base. But I think he's better than what we saw, but he's probably not as good than as what maybe we think he could be. I think he's somewhere in the middle. I mean, for his career, he's a terrible player, basically. He doesn't make contact. Pete Alonso with, I think it's going to end up being a double for him. Nimmo scores, makes it 9-4. So the Mets do extend the game. Yes, the Mets are 1 for 10 in this game with runners in scoring position. Well, I guess now 2 for 10, 2 for 11, and they've left 9 on base. I just think Siri adds something to the Mets because of his his ability to steal bases, his ability to, you know, hit home runs. There was a time a few weeks into the season where Siri had only reached base 5 times and he'd scored all 5 times. So if he's able to get on base at least at a even a below average, screw an average, a below average, and just not terrible, then he could be electric on the bases. He can add something to the team. And when you're slumping, when you're not playing well, when you're not hitting, stealing a run here and there is super helpful. That's why I think Acuna probably should play a little bit more because he's the type of guy who could also steal a run. I think if Siri was on this team, maybe they wouldn't be slumping as much. Not because he's a great hitter, but because he can steal a run. And he can distract a pitcher. 3-1 now on Beatty. I mean, this game's over unless they score like. I'm not believing until they get it to like 9-8, and then I still wouldn't really believe. Beatty takes a strike. It's now 3-2. Beatty walks, so now we have first and second with 2 outs, and Vientos is coming to the plate. They're showing this White Sox fan on TV who has a look on his face like, no, this can't be happening, but I think he's pretty safe. I agree with you on that. He definitely uses Buto really in situations that Buto should never be in. Vientos takes ball 1 up and in. Vientos takes a cut, misses. It's 1-1 now. All right, Vientos. What are we doing? And that's another swing and miss on a changeup. I just think they're not really capable. I think that the White Sox just have a lot of bad pitchers. And he strikes out, and the game is over. So, ball game's over. Mets lose. They do not sweep the White Sox, but they do take 2 out of 3. So it's not a loss of a series. This was a bad game. Another one where their offense doesn't hit. They go 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position, leave 11 men on base. Not a great way to end this series. The good news, though, we get an off day tomorrow. Start a new series against the Rockies on Friday. Should be another team that, at the very minimum, you have to take 2 out of 3. Hopefully, that's a sweep. But yeah, that's it. Hope you guys liked being here and, kind of the forum that we had. I know it got a little boring late, and we just talked about other things. But thanks for tuning in. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please do that on your way out. And until next time, let's go Mets.